So for those people who know me, I will just repeat that I'm Elene Tsatsua. I've been teaching at university, at the Tbilisi State University for many, many years. Until 2019, I established organization English Teachers Space for educational purposes and to support English language teaching all over Georgia. Actually, at the moment, I'm just implementing projects in Imereti region, and my organization supports and just encourages English language teachers in Emirati to improve the quality of teaching and provides lots of training, etc., etc. Where today's topic is self-regulated learning strategies for effective teaching. There's sometimes some problems with moving to another slide, I'm sorry. So first I will just draw your attention to the topics that I will tackle. Classroom objectives, changes in teachers and students' attitudes, self-regulated learning strategies, a three-phase model by Berit Zimmerman, and memory tools for effective English language teaching, brain activities. Well, let's get started. I invite you to participate in activities. Please write replies to the answers that I also wanted just to mention that my friend Tina Dadianita will help me to write the questions, to provide you with questions in the chat box. And please be interactive during the webinar so that let's just have fun and enjoy this webinar today. The first question that I would like to ask you is, what is effective teaching? And I started with questioning because questionology was the approach that I was introduced by one of teacher at the University of Ipsu conference many years ago, and I was really interested what was that. So she told me that this is my approach, questionology. Actually, when you search for this word in Google, you can't find it as an existing word, but this is like a pedagogy or something like that, like discipline. So she used this method in order to unfold or uncover something that is hidden. So I think that this, my topic today is not so well known, or not well known, but is not widely used nowadays. We know what is soft skill, right? But we don't quite integrate it in our syllabus or curriculum, self-regulated learning strategies. But in America and in Europe, educators think that this is most important to integrate in our classroom activities. Now, please write in a chat box, what is effective teaching for you? So what does it mean to be an effective teacher, for example? And what is just effect or impact in our class? Could you please write chat box? You can also use emojis, etc., etc. Tico will just provide you with questions. Well, yeah, Tico will write questions, and please reply to the question. Tico, could you please write the question? Also, what is it's written there on the slide, but it would be also great if teachers see it in the chat box as well. Okay, effective teaching is when students are actively engaged in the activities. You see their motivated eyes, and the lesson outcome is achieved. Yes, Miss Maya, thank you a lot. Thanks a lot. Involving all kinds of level students simultaneously. Yeah, that's great ideas. Okay, let's wait others to answer. Yeah, generally effective teaching is oriented to the consequences of teaching, right? The consequence is that to transfer knowledge, and then when students acquire that knowledge, right? And so when they have a long-term memory, right? So the knowledge of long-term memory, okay? For me, it is when I see students achieving, and improvements. That's true, results. Thank you very much for very interesting answers to this question. Let's move to another slide. Okay, this is just an information. We always integrate in our lessons our objectives. The teacher's objectives are very important. But what do you think? Is it important to define our students' objectives as well? So have you ever asked your students, so what is your aim or what is your purpose when you come to my class? Because I think that, well, we have the kind of acquired maybe the kind of regulations or forms that we have to follow, that administration of school or maybe university provide us, and we don't have to just go beyond that frame. But still, if we make a lesson plan, I think for me it's very important to know my students' purpose and objectives, so that's to make our classes more student-centered. Well, this is my opinion, but we don't include students' objectives in our lesson plans. So in this slide, I want to talk about my failure as a teacher, and I fail on a daily basis because I all the time. Could you please turn off the speaker? Actually, some time ago, I thought I was a good teacher. A good teacher means that I was motivated teacher. I'm a motivated teacher in real, and I always try to find some new strategies, some activities in order to provide my students with interesting classes, etc. But still, I found some of my students getting bored, and they don't understand the material that I'm trying to share with them or transfer. Then I started reading some educational or psychological articles. I mean, articles about educational psychology, that's better to say like that. And I found out that a lot of countries use self-regulated learning strategies in order to motivate students and in order to help students to realize what they really want when they come to class. So my attempt, and maybe your attempt sometimes, is not enough in order to get some effectiveness at the end of the lesson. So that's why we always need to answer these questions, and we always need to help our students answer the questions: why, what, and how. So why do we teach? Why do they come to our classes, etc., etc. So and I found very helpful to use self-regulation strategies. Well, just as a glance, I will share with you my point of view of teaching skills. We know that we teach English language and we teach reading, speaking, listening. Also writing and grammaring is a new terminology for this. So grammaring, when we teach grammar in a funny way, in a relaxing way, not a painful way, and we don't start with rules, etc. And the most important skill for me nowadays, which I use at the moment, which I'm using at the moment, is thinking skill. Well, I nowadays teach English through thinking skills, which helps me to teach reading, speaking, listening, and some other skills. Well, without thinking skill, I can't imagine teaching English language. So now let's also return to our chat box and activate your thinking skills, please, and be as much possible as just to write your idea about your failure. When you fail, how do you feel when you fail? Or do you ever fail as a teacher? And can you write a few sentences about that, express your idea? And this reflection is also a cognitive process and very important, by the way, to develop our professional point of view. So I've mentioned that I fail when I just see my students when they don't understand what I teach, and I'm really frustrated sometimes, or I'm just really disappointed many times. Mm-hmm. So some teachers think they don't fail. So, and this is a very interesting case when people think they don't fail. I always want to hear some arguments from these teachers. What are the arguments that they don't fail? In general, we are not perfect, and I think we always just have some not mistakes, but there are cases that could be disadvantages, and we need to improve them. So this is why I think the failure makes life interesting. Hate this feeling, yeah, and Natia, yes. Hate this feeling. So if you hate this feeling, could it be helpful, Nati, to improve your teaching skill?
Yeah, of course it is. We try to reflect our failure and to improve what we failed.
Yeah, that's great
I think
idea.
it's very good for self. I don't know how to say, for us,
Mhm.
improving our skills.
Yeah, thank you. No, Nina says, well, I was teaching to my nephew. We were having listening skills, and I think I failed as I did not teach the words beforehand. Yeah, yeah, good reflection. So you observed it. So that's why reflective teaching or reflecting interaction is very interesting. When we help each other, we can also ask some other teachers to reflect on our lesson planning or just teaching in order to help us improve. We as teachers fail on a daily basis. Yeah, that's my also just motto. We fail when we can't tackle the problem of inclusion, when we have even one failing student in class, when we fail to motivate a teenager. Yes, I had cases like this many times. I failed with time management. Yes, because we need to teach lots of things and we don't have time. Yeah, time management is a really serious problem. Can't hear my voice. I think there's a technical problem maybe. So do others hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Maria, can you hear me now? Okay, thank you very much. As for the next slide, when we behave, our behavior is caused or maybe just we behave on a basis of the relationship between our mind and emotion. So, and the mind is materialized in the brain. So they are the main and the most important part of our body and the organ of our body. As for me, I started introducing the brain functions to my students to help them understand where do these skills, I mean the development of skills come from. Well, brain, we all know that brain has lots of new neurons. I mean, we can't count them. So the brain is responsible for effectiveness in teaching. Well, there are some stereotypes that the scientists have already just broke. The learning is possible with age. It only needs a little more much work, and all parts of the brain are always involved in information processing. So now we move to emotional intelligence, which is also soft skill, the similar terminology. And have you ever mastered your emotional intelligence? Could you please answer this question? Yes or no, just yes or no. Have you ever mastered emotional intelligence? And there is just the kind of instruction how to master it. So you have to imagine that you leave your mind leaves your body just for a while, and then you start looking at your feelings, looking down at your feelings, what you feel. I mean, during the pandemic, how you felt before it, for example. How do you also can ask your students to reflect on their feelings with my mind. Um, with my, that's very interesting, by the way, when you observe your feelings. So I could not just help sharing Dimitri Uznadze, because he's a Georgian psychologist, profession of psychology, that attitudes define our behavior. Now I want to move to I think very interesting slide, and I'd like to ask you to answer this question in the chat box. Do we feel, or do you feel like watching the mountain? I mean, I'm sorry, how do you feel like watching the mountain or going up the mountain? Let's just use your imagination, and you can develop your imagination through this point. Just look at the mountain, and what are the associations that come to your mind? Please use the chat box. This is very, very interesting test, by the way, and you have to go deeper to your emotion. Yeah, so Nina, when you go, I feel like going the mountain. Yeah, you go up the mountain for sure, right? Because it is just like a slope. Feel like watching it. Natia, do you like only watching, or are there any activities that come after watching?
No,
No,
I don't like activities. Physical activities
you
are not
don't want to go out, go up the
No.
mountain. Okay, Nina says watching is pleasant, but going is tiring for me. Okay, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Pleasant, but going, yeah, is tiring for me. Imagine that sometimes I feel like to watch the sides of mountains. Okay, so, and what are the feelings? So you enjoy just watching it, nothing more. But what is special? Uh, what is special about me? Because I want to go up the mountains all the time, and this feeling I was experiencing, by the way, in my childhood. So I have been experiencing it since my childhood. That when I'm watching the mountain, I always imagine myself just walking up on it, and then comes the satisfaction. And I lay down on a mountain and rest. So have you ever had this kind of feeling? Well, I've been using this feeling in order to overcome my fear and control my emotions when I have to do something challenging or when I have to overcome some difficulties. Well, I would like to advise you to think about this topic that will help you to overcome some of the tough job in your life. Very good. So the quotation by Arnold Schwarzenegger, that was very, very interesting. He had a feeling like me. You know how great it felt that I knew where I was going. I wanted to become a bodybuilding champion. When you have a goal and when you have a vision, everything becomes easy. Well, why am I talking about these topics? Well, today I'm not going to share with you some of the activities or strategies teaching English. No, we are just today talking about the strategies of thinking skills and how to control our emotions like teachers, and how to help our students control their emotions in order to have the kind of quality lesson or effective teaching, etc. Well, I always talk with my students about a success. Success does not mean to just win just a lot of money or become the head of organization, etc. Success means that to start speaking English is a great success, right? So here's 7 steps to success. First, you need to identify your goals, visualize strategies, then observe or reflect on your perceptions and intentions. Step over your failure and ignore naysayers. Naysayers are skeptic people who always tell you that, well, you don't have to do that, that because there is no sense of it, right? So, and you have to ascend in your imagination, you have to ascend the top of the mountain where you can then rest and feel your success before you just move forward the success. You have to feel it before you go towards it. Okay, so maybe you are thinking that Elena is talking about self-regulation, it's talking about other things, but where is self-regulation? Well, we have already done the first phase. This is Bart Zimmerman. He is the American educational psychologist, the professor. He has just designed this three-step model in order to help our students regulate their learning pace, and they regulate their just learning process. We have already done the first one, and we have worked on our attitudes, which help us to move toward the success. Now we're moving to performance phase. Performance phase is more practical part, and after that comes self-reflection to check what we have done. Well, we are not going to do it. I mean, at the part of webinar self-reflection phase, I will just ask you to fill in the questionnaire at the end of the webinar, just to answer 3 questions to reflect on my webinar. So now let's move to performance phase, where we need to draw attention to more practical part of the webinar. Well, how do we memorize information? And this is the most important question for me, because we have already the experience, right, as teachers, that during the training, during the webinars, or during conferences, we get a lot of information, but very just few amount of it exists or remains in our brain. And this is because in this working memory, we did not catch it in a motivating way or in an interesting way. So this is very important for teachers to think that to create motivation activities and engaging activities to help students to move the information into long-term memory. So, and we also call it lifelong learning, which means that I remember some information from my childhood. Now let's move forward and imagine we have to just force our imagination to go around the table. Imagine that I invited you to my house, maybe let's take virtually. Now you are in my house, and I made this dishes of Georgian cuisine for you. You can just see what are they, and we will talk about it later. Let's challenge our brain. So I wanted to underline that in order to develop our thinking, reading, and other skills of language, we need to challenge the brain. And brain loves paradoxical things. If we provide some interesting activities, I'm just mentioning it and repeating it, the brain will remember it in a better way. So, what's wrong? Okay, memorable encounters. So you can see here that the brain is hungry, right? Imagine that you are going to eat this, these 7 types of dishes, which will be connected to strategies that will activate your emotions or activate your memory skill, and which help you to move this information into long-term memory, okay? So memorable encounters are very interesting ways that help you remember, and that will help your students also to memorize some very difficult topics. Okay, some of you, if we're, I'm very sorry. Guys, are you back? Something went wrong. Yes, I'm sorry for inconveniences. So can you hear me now? Nino, can you hear me? Because I can't see you.
We can hear your voice.
Can you hear my voice?
Yeah.
Okay, very
I'm
good.
not Nino, but I can hear your voice.
Natia, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, nice. So can you see the screen share at the moment, or was
No.
it just?
No.
Okay, because it was disconnected. I will share it now. Again, I'm sorry. There was some technical problem maybe with the internet connection. Okay, I'm sorry. So I think now we can see what's happening on the screen, right?
Yes.
So for those people who don't know the Georgian cuisine, there is just titles also, the subscriptions like chicken, another one mushroom with the cheese, hachapuri, we call it like cheese, not cheesecake, but the cheese bread, something like that. Barbecue, hinkali is Georgian dumplings, spinach, and lobio, Georgian bean dish with cornbread, which is also called mchadi in Georgian language. Okay, now we're going to move another slide, and I will introduce you the activity, which strategy, which is like a stimulation of our brain. So we memorize in two ways. The first one is imagination. We use our imagination. And as Einstein says, imagination is not limited of a person, and you can travel in your imagination. So imagination is more important than knowledge. Well, I would ask you to just turn on your videos and imagine that you are just holding this pinwheel, and you have to close your eyes and blow the pinwheel, and just observe yourselves whether this pinwheel is going around or not. So, you know, this is a very often used strategy, which I, by the way, watched on TED videos a lot of times, that this strategy is used with the kindergarten students, primary students, also at schools, in order to help them develop their imagination. So can you just try it, please? So you have to like hold the stick or something like, you don't have to hold anything. Just close your eyes and blow the air and imagine that you have to help this pinwheel to go round, like me. I would do this. Nothing is just going around like a circle. Natia, please try. Don't be ashamed, please. And what happens? It's very interesting if it happens when you and the educators say that when you just see in your imagination this pinwheel, it means that your brain neurons start spreading, and then your imagination and memory works better, starts working. Okay, so this activity was called Khachapuri. Now the next one, to remember the words, or just not only the words, but the environment, situation as well, etc. Is based on our associations. So it is, by the way, used at schools when teacher needs to just choose the activity which is connected to the knowledge. Mrs. Maya will agree with me if she is here that we have to choose the activity which is connected to the previous knowledge and previous associations of a student. Well, I chose this perfect perfume, Dolce & Gabbana, because now I will tell you my example. Many years ago, I visited Madrid, and in Madrid, we had a hotel just in the center of the city. I remember even the name because it was maybe 15 years ago, and I used Dolce & Gabbana, and nowadays, wherever I use it, whenever I use it, I recollect the environment where in Madrid. So I remember the colors of the curtain, colors of the wallpaper. I don't know everything. I also remember the story of the hotel and etc. So this is a good technique for you to use with your students to also enrich their vocabulary, and you can use it. So this strategy is called mushroom with cheese. So this is a very interesting one for me, because I'm using it with young learners. Actually, I don't teach young learners, but I volunteer to teach my daughter's classmates. I just wanted to help them to teach English, and I came to conclusion that there is no problem with age, because we always say that, you know, when we get older, we can't remember things. Well, it's really it's just a false, I can tell you. And this activity could be very helpful with young learners and adult learners, etc. It does not matter. Well, I will just show an example how to use this activity, and then please, some of you, I will just invite you to volunteer and practice it. Okay, according to this activity, according to this just slide, we don't have to read the words like yellow, blue, orange. We have to name the colors, and as fast as possible. Well, okay, I will start. But I always fail. I can tell you, I always fail. Like red, yellow, blue, black. Okay, I always stuck on black, and I can't just say it's that it's green, unfortunately. So yellow, blue, orange, black, it's very easy to read, but as for the colors, it's difficult. So who is going to volunteer, please? Okay, Nino. I can't hear you, Nino. I'm sorry. Okay, Miss Maria, very nice that you're with us. Nino, I can't hear you. So can others hear Nino?
No, I don't hear.
Okay, Nino, maybe some other teachers. Okay, please, who will volunteer? Katie, thank you for joining me. Hi.
Thanks a lot, and sorry for being late.
No, that's okay. That's okay. You're welcome. Nazi, will you volunteer, or Natia, please? Come on. And
Okay.
you can just practice it, and it's very enjoyable.
Okay. Red, yellow, blue, green, blue, red, and purple.
Okay. Okay, who is going to try again a bit faster? And you know, this is time management is very important here. So from the beginning, you can just invite students to read slowly, but for the second time, for the third time, they have to just make it faster and faster. And so it's very challenging, you know, it's very interesting. Nazi, will you try?
I will, but
Okay.
Okay, yellow, blue, red.
Blue. Yeah. You don't have to read
orange?
the words. Nazi.
Yeah, I don't know.
You
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm confused. Sorry, my brain is confused a little bit.
That's okay. It needs practice.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Okay. Maybe again, like yellow.
Okay.
Red. Blue, black, green, and purple.
No, you are reading the words again. Well, but
Okay.
it's okay. So the same happens with students, and then they just are anxious and they are disappointed. Oh, math, they say. Well, it's very difficult. I can't do that. But from time to time, we can just prove our students that talent is not so important as hard work, right? You could maybe agree with me that when you practice a lot, you will have a result for sure. So you can just use this activity, which is called, which is not called, but which is a show associated with roast chicken. Okay, the next activity, not the activity, but strategy could be used for memorizing our students' names, maybe, or maybe the names of some other people, because I mean, some of the people can't remember the names of maybe doctors or teachers, etc. But you can choose a special sign, or you can choose special characteristic of the person, maybe color of hair or something like that. I don't know. So this is called strategy barbecue. So I'm not going to just practice it here, but you can think of it and you can ask your students about that to use this strategy. As for the next, I'm sorry. As for the next strategy, I don't have here the coin, but that's okay. When I heard about the strategy, I really thought that I had been using it for many, many years. And I will tell you why. So this strategy stimulates our brain, and we have to close our eyes, just take a coin, and we have to touch the coin and stimulate our brain and ask the brain what is just carved on the coin. So have you ever tried something like that? Have you ever tried? Because I remember that not I remember, but I use it all the time. So, for example, when I'm waiting in a queue, I have some things in my pocket, and I'm touching these, maybe some keys or etc. And I always think, well, this key might be for that room, that key for that room, etc. So we need to stimulate our brain by touching it, and you can just practice it when we finish this webinar, and it's very, very interesting. So this strategy is called also just a Georgian bean dish with mujadin. Okay,
I
so
never tried it before,
sorry.
but it's interesting. I never tried it before, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. It helps us. I mean, touching the coin helps us to improve the imaginary skill.
Mhm.
Yeah, imaginary skill, because I had a practice with my students of writing a story. And when I ask them, well, let's start just making up a story, and they are stuck. They tell me, well, Elene, I don't have any ideas how to start, what to do. Well, I explain, I just make just pre-teaching of vocabulary, etc. But still they don't have the kind of developed ability how to imagine things. So these are very, very good and helpful strategies, and you could just work them with your students. So I don't know, maybe some of you have heard about memory palace. From the first time, I was really confused, and I did not believe that this skill, or this not skill but strategy, would work. And then I started working on myself first of all, and I read a lot of things. So this strategy is also called like a Loki method, and this helps the person for multitasking. Also, if you just lack concentration, it will help you to enforce or to develop your concentration skills. Also, you can just avoid some problems with distraction. Well, this is quite good a strategy for teaching large texts or teaching reading large texts. And if we just teach, for example, 2 or 3 page texts, there will be a lot of vocabulary, right? So we can ask our students to or to program their brain or order their brain, for example, to keep the words connected to nature or connected to medicine or connected to technology. Where you can decide in, for example, in the kitchen cupboard. And I did it, by the way, and now I also want to take the language exam and international language exam, another exam, and I'm going to use this method, by the way. So you can think of this method. Actually, we are not going to practice it now, but that's a great strategy, really. So it is, I call this strategy spinach. And the last one today, well, this is, I think, this scrolling is not that bad as educators write, or as psychologists also say, right? So I always like to find positive things from negative. And several weeks ago, I read an article about scrolling, that we people nowadays, especially digital generation, are addicted to scrolling, and we waste a lot of time when we scroll. So today I'm going to just to imitate this activity with you, and I will go to Facebook, my Facebook page, and scroll it, and as fast as possible. And I will ask my brain to remember the information which it prioritizes. And I don't know what will it be. So I will do it and then tell you. Okay, I have just finished scrolling, and the information that was remembered by my brain was connected to one of my friends, Facebook friends, who had a post of celebrating her birthday during the pandemic. And she managed that. There were also a lot of information also here, but I can't remember all of them. Well, when we practice this activity with our students, it also helps develop speaking skills, thinking skills for sure. We can also develop new vocabulary. We can just do this activity in groups of 4 or 2, and they can discuss their Facebook page, what happens there, and share information, etc., etc. So I think this is a good strategy, which I called Hinkali Georgian dumpling. Okay, now let's move to another one, another slide, just a minute, because my computer is a procrastinator. I don't know, somebody's just joined here. So now I'm going to check your memory. So what do you remember? So, what was the first strategy? No, not the first strategy, because I'm not going to share with you according to the enumeration, like first, the second, etc. So, what was the strategy connected with barbecue? Do you remember? You can just tell me. You can just write whatever you want to do. Barbecue. Do you remember?
Give us clue, please.
Sorry?
Give us clue.
Okay, so okay, I will give. So there is, it's barbecue, and there's something special about it. There is one red spot, which is a tomato, and I remember someone with some indicator or just some sign and so on. I remember the person with that. You don't remember. Okay, you did not pay attention to that. So it, but through practice.
Is it by touching or imagination? I just mixed up. I think.
Okay. I will show you. Just a minute. Yeah, remembering the names of people was connected to barbecue. You know, this is not the recipe. So association with the name. Yes, good. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Tico.
Okay.
Remember the name. So
remembering someone with any sign.
any sign. Yes, it was the Audrey Hepburn. Was just the photo of Audrey Hepburn. Yes, you know, this is this kind of activity does not have any recipe that you have to follow it. Well, and associations are quite individuals. If I, for example, associate this dish to that activity does not mean that you also have to use this criteria. Well, because we are all individuals, we are different, we have different background, different knowledge, and we have different associations. That's why teaching is so interesting. Okay, as for the next, when I click something happens here, I don't know. So what were the association with mushroom? What was the strategy? Dolce and Gabbana, it comes just itself. I don't click it. Dolce and Gabbana, and I'm using this perfume, and there are a lot of words which come to my mind, and these mushrooms are here represented, many mushrooms. So I connected some of the words with mushrooms. Okay, so but you don't have to connect it, link these mushrooms with the words. So this is just my individual point of view. So as for the Hinkali,
Memory palace?
not exactly. The last one, do you remember what was the last strategy? Okay, shall we just yeah, Nino, great scrolling. Yes, yeah, that's true. So there are a lot of here. I mean, Hinkali, number of Hinkalis. So there were just there was a lot of information also presented on my Facebook wall. As for the next one, chicken. Do you remember? Just a minute, I will read it. Yeah, Nino, thank you. That's great. Say colors. Yeah, and my association and my association with this strategy is it's say colors. When we say color, it means that I have to start from the beginning to the end. And this chicken is also the whole, right? Whole dish, which is just consisted with different parts of its body. So that's why I connected with somehow. Okay, as for the next one, Georgian bean dish and cornbread. Well, I will just give you a hint. Just a minute. Coin touching, Nino, great, coin touching. So, how do you think, why did I just connect these two concepts? Shape, great. Oh my God, I'm so happy. Yeah, great. And not only the jadi, but the jar also is kind of round, and coins are also round. So yeah, that's what my associations came from. Spinach. Not, let me read it. Palace. Tico, let's check.
Self-regulation.
Memory palace. Yes,
Memory
great.
palace.
So memory palace, because palace consists of different rooms and spinach is also of different colors here represented, right? Okay, remembering the information. Yes, good. Good. And the last one. Yeah, I'm sure you remember it. Okay, this is Khachapuri, the last one. We had to blow the air. Okay. Pinwheel. Yes, that's true. That's true. Pinwheel. Okay, great job. Great job. Fantastic. So sometimes when we ask our students to just participate in these kind of activities, they seem to be disappointed, my students. And they you know, they have expectations like they must be perfect and so on for the first time. But I think we people really have to think of loving practice. Because I also did not like practicing it. I wanted to do everything for the first time, but we need to teach students to practice, because talent is not enough, okay? And with skills also are not enough. We need much practice. So through practicing, it does not really matter how old we are. Through practicing, our brain will just develop and our neurons will spread. Thank you very much for participating. Well, this is my three-phase circle. I mean, I did it. So before the webinar, I worked on my attitude, I worked on my feelings. What will happen after the webinar? So, well, will it be just a chance for me to be satisfied, or will it be a chance for me to be disappointed, etc., etc.? I think I tried it, right? So that's a great opportunity for me to share with you my experiences. I'm going to share with you one very, very interesting video, and I want to draw your attention in the video how people master this emotional intelligence. So emotional, when we say emotional intelligence, it means that our brain controls our emotions. And you know, when I look at my daughter, she is the fourth grader. She is very sensitive, I mean, regarding lots of things around her. So I also help her to control her emotions. Well, I can't do anything. She has to do, she has to take responsibility. So we also need to teach our students to take responsibility for their learning environment. Well, now I will share with you this video, and please pay attention. Pay attention. Just a minute, I have shared it here. Just tell me if you hear anything. Can you hear it? Okay, okay. Well, so did you get the idea? Because when I watched it for the first time, I was a little confused. But when I watched for the second time, I really got the idea that when we want to understand our, I mean, emotions, we have to think. I mean, when we want to understand our emotions correctly, that when we want to find our truth, first we need growth mindset. Okay, so Nino can talk, but maybe, do you want to say anything about the video, please? Katie, maybe, or Nino, Leila, Miss Maya, please. I would like to hear your just Natia. Tico, please. I just want to share your ideas. Okay, you don't want to talk? That's okay. But you could write in a chat box, maybe just express your ideas about the video that these people went through. Teamwork. Yeah, that's great. Teamwork. And you know, this woman was wanted to find the symbol which was had to be stuck on this box, and she did not know what was it. She could not find it. That's why she went to the growth mindset, to self-talk, to empathy, right? And that's really great with video for mastering your emotional intelligence, but through mind. Well, I'm afraid I got the point.
Can I tell something?
Well, yes, one thing is clear, that by help of everyone, anybody can reach the goal. Yes, but you have to decide, right? You have to decide that you want to reach the goal. Thank you very much.
Okay.
As, yeah, just I will summarize. Self-regulation is the ability to monitor and control your thoughts, feelings, and behavior. Well, as teachers, we can control. Sometimes we also we can't even control our emotions, but we have to do it. And this control, or self-control, self-efficacy, comes through time. Everything comes through time, through practice. And what are the benefits of self-regulation? It predicts long-term academic success and other life outcome of our students. These are not my ideas. These are that's what researchers say. And there are a lot of researches on self-regulation. So it helps the pursuit of personal goals in changing learning environment. Also, it helps to take ownership. It helps students to take ownership of their learning and become more responsible, especially during pandemic, by the way. And students will be able to plan, employ, reflect, and evaluate learning process independently. So that are the benefits. And I started using self-regulation in my classes with my students. And by the way, I got absolutely amazing feedback at the end of this semester. So they said that they have changed their attitude to learning and to life in general. Well, as for I have two just pieces of news for you today, that you can see on the photo, two hands. One hand helps another hand to wash and clean, etc. So we can't just wash with one hand. So it means I just wanted to hint that my also sharing meeting with you is this kind of process that I'm sharing here, because I want some of the processes to become better, education processes, and I'm very excited when I share. I think that I care of other teachers, and I also want some other teachers to join our organization and this collaboration. And we have an initiative, by the way. And I will just ask you not not to miss this opportunity. Share your experience with international teachers and develop your professional visions with the help of English Teacher Space. You can send to this email any topic, or just maybe you have done some researches on education process and you want to share and you want just participate in the webinars. Just I have done it today, just like I have done it today, and the English Teachers Space gives you this opportunity. You just have to send maybe an abstract or the topic and description of your your occupation and your topic that you want to share with teachers, and we will organize the webinar for you for the next time. This is our English Teacher Space Facebook page. You can contact us there. Also, we have another news. Katie knows that we are organizing first national conference, and we were organizing on the July 3rd, but due to the pandemic and to some kind of situations, we have changed the date and we transferred it to July 31st, 2021 in Honi municipality in Imereti region. What's happened? I'm sorry. And this conference will have guided tour on a Gatsa Canyon, and there is also waterfall with interesting sightseeing, and you can join us. We will try to hold this conference in open air because of the pandemic, or actually if weather permits, for sure. You also can just send us our emails to this, email us with your information if you want to participate, or you can go to our Facebook webpage and register, because we have uploaded there the register posts. And Tico will, or Tico, have you already just shared the links? Yeah, you can see the links of Okata Canyon, this fantastic view. And I'm also going to, award certificates on this long bridge after the conference. So these are just the two piece of news that I wanted to share with you. Well, success and happiness exist in our brain. I don't know whether you agree or not. I think that our brain is everything in our life, right? With our emotions. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot. If you would like to share your feedback, I'm welcome. And if you have any questions, I'm also welcome to hear your voices. Tajima, could you? You are welcome if you want to share your opinion. Okay.
Can you summarize the strategies in a very short time?
Strategies that, I'm sorry, I did not read this. I'm sorry. Okay, strategies. Yes. So by strategies, I mean that in general, we have when we just have our lesson in the classroom, we always think that we have problems with teaching skills, only teaching skills. But the problem is that we have relationships with our students, and we need more social skills to be developed, to be taught to our students in order to help them control their emotions. And you know, you can find a lot of resources and a lot of videos, by the way, where primary students are taught self-regulated strategies. I watched this video, actually it's too long and I can't now share it with you. How teachers help students to calm down, because when they are so excited, especially young learners, when they are so excited, we can't control them. And if you are a teacher of young learners, you can understand what I'm saying, because it's difficult, because they are full of energy, etc. So we need to use these strategies which help them to their mind to observe their feelings. And they have, like, some of the people use meditation, for example, and calming down strategy is also very, very common with young learner teaching, and etc. There are lots of things. Actually, I'm a teacher I teach university students, and as for the adult learners, I use in general reflective teaching, because there are also some students who can't share their opinion, maybe just verbally. I ask them to write their reflection and to express themselves, and there's a problem, by the way, with expressing their ideas. I don't know if you have tackled this problem, but I have this problem with my students because they are very shy. And some of my students say that, well, in the pandemic has helped me to express myself because I'm in front of the computer. I don't turn on my video and I can talk. I don't know if you have this kind of student, but they say.
Yes, I also face these things with my students. There's most of them are very shy to ask questions about what they don't understand. I also found that.
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree. So this is just the soft skill. The soft skill is the communication. So we also call it 21st century skill, which is just not only communication, but problem solving, decision making, just computer literacy, critical thinking, etc., etc. These are all connected with social skills. I mean, soft skills, and with emotional intelligence. So thank you very much. I'm going to read here also some of your thank you. Thank you, Nino. I'm still taking useful resources from today. Thank you for being so dedicated. Thank you. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you for finding time and just joining us. Tico, have you already just uploaded or shared the? Okay, Tico is going to share, or Tico has already shared the questionnaire. Please just answer the questions. It's not like the quiz or something like that. And I will send you certificates during 2 weeks. Thank you, Nino. Thanks a lot. And I hope just I shared some of interesting information, and maybe that would be useful for you. Learning further. Thank you, Tajima. Thank you. See you for the next webinar. Thank you, Tico. Thanks a lot. Just pleasure for me to share my experience. And you can also use this chance to participate in these webinars. Some of the teachers also are shy to express themselves. And I also used to be very shy, but I practiced. I worked on myself a lot, and now I'm not shy sharing. I think that is a good job, really, to share something you have done successfully, and so on, to just support other teachers. And this is great opportunity for me, and that's why I under the name of my organization, I also invite you to participate in this process. Why not? That would be great. I mean, for internationally we're doing that.
One thing I wanted to tell you from the beginning, that you're so beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Tajima, where are you from? By the way, where are you from?
I'm from Bangladesh.
Okay, nice to meet you. And do you teach young learners, or maybe just high?
Yeah, I teach young learners from grade 1 to 5, but not the college students or university students. But I used to teach the college students before.
Okay, nice. Okay, have you ever used this kind of techniques? Or maybe how do you cope with, maybe we can say, some stubborn or just naughty students who are not engaged, who don't want to, who are reluctant to be engaged in class?
Maybe I've used some techniques, but I was not familiar with the names, maybe. So I cannot ensure that I have used this strategy or this. But the strategies are very interesting. I'm just learning from this.
Okay, so I'm inviting you to Georgia. If you come here, and you can just taste our Georgian dishes. Very tasty.
Thank you very much, Elena.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I think we've come to conclusion and finished our webinar. I'm very happy to share with you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, and I'm telling you bye-bye. See you next time.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.